So much action here going on in baseball right now. And also taking a look at the Masters is now teeing off officially, and we are underway. But did you know this month the NFL draft is here? Millionaires will be made, teams will get better, and number one overall draft picks won't show up to the draft because they're in Pittsburgh and they'd rather spend their time in Miami, and nobody will disagree with them. But Bleacher Report Gridiron tweets out, get ready for some chaos on draft night, Joe. Why? 2026 is expected to be one of the more heavy trading drafts that we've seen. We love to see this, Joe. Trades equal fun and big-time players on the move.
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me, Donnie, because, I mean, you've got a situation where this is not the quarterback draft, right? So that's always the battle up at the top of the draft board. But when there's not that, then you got a lot of teams going, well, if I stockpile a bunch of picks, that's, you build teams in the second, third, and fourth round, right, Donnie? Yeah. That's where you build. That's where you get the depth. That's where you build a team. So teams looking for draft capital very much could be alive and well in this draft coming up because there's just nobody to mortgage the future for because you need your franchise guy. They're just not in this draft.
By the way, also from Jordan Schultz, a little excerpt here. Several executives I've spoken with believe we're likely to see a flurry of activity in the first half of round number one. That is music to the NFL's ears. They want all eyes on that draft. And if you're having trades and excitement, that's higher ratings that they can charge the networks for even more money in future drafts here. Now, talking about draft picks not showing up in Pittsburgh and being down in Miami with their family, that's Fernando Mendoza. But how about this tweet from Nick Walters? Kirk Cousins' understanding of his role with the Raiders alongside Fernando Mendoza is, quote, we all want to play, but it's clear to Clint that the best player needs to play. That's not me. I don't want to be out there. I don't think that's the best thing for the team. I'm excited to get a chance to lead and help influence the locker room, do my part, do my role, and more importantly, help our team win. Back in the day, Joe, you would see some teams, let's just say, the Houston Oilers / Tennessee Titans, they draft McNair in the top three. Like, hey, kid, slow it down. We're going to teach you the way the football works here in the NFL, and eventually you're going to get your start, and he was a very good quarterback. We also saw that with Carson Palmer, Heisman Trophy winner, coming out of USC, he also had that same treatment. We don't see that anymore, Joe. Are you telling me that the Raiders are going to draft Mendoza number one and be like, well, Kirk Cousins is going to start because he's better? Because Kirk Cousins right now is better than a rookie coming into camp. This is something interesting to watch throughout the summer.
Well, I think what you'll see is if he is the better quarterback, he'll play. And I think at least early on, right? Don't forget, it wasn't like, Donnie, It's been 100 years. We saw this with Jordan Love recently, right? I mean, Jordan Love wasn't drafted and then all of a sudden was thrown to the wolves. Like, he spent a little time learning from Aaron Rodgers there. Right. And we saw Willis, the same thing situation there. Took him a few years. So it still happens, but as the number one pick in the draft, the pressure is going to be to play him. But, let's see if Clint's like, all right, we got to play him even though we're going to get him killed, or is Kirk Cousins going to start the season and then you work him in when you feel he's ready?
It's an interesting topic because when you do look at the Green Bay Packers, which you don't say they got lucky, they made the right draft picks here, right? You trade for Brett Favre and then you draft eventually Aaron Rodgers. Well, Favre was a Hall of Famer and Rodgers is coming in. The expectations for even a first round pick is like, dude, slow your roll. This guy's a Hall of Famer ahead of you. Learn the game. Then the same thing happened. Aaron Rodgers, Hall of Famer. You draft Jordan Love. There's no pressure on Jordan Love, and it turns out that he's probably be a pretty good quarterback here in the NFL. But usually when you have the number one pick, it's like, okay, we're going to get you that guy that's going to be a veteran quarterback, that's going to be no challenge to you whatsoever. Let's just say a Josh McCown, guy in his late 30s. Look, my only job here is to coach you up and get you ready to play, and I'm not a threat because you're better than me already. I thought the interesting move for the Raiders was we're going to get a guy that can actually come in and perform right away, and he's telling everybody the best man for the job is going to get this. That's usually how it works. You get drafted number one overall. The secondary quarterback and the third quarterback, they know their role. Get number one ready, and if things go good, I'll still have a job for the next 5 to 6 years right behind this guy because I'm good for the locker room. But Kirk Cousins was apparently promised, hey, if you're really good, you're going to play. The same thing we heard like down in Atlanta, like, hey, don't worry about Penix getting drafted. You'll play. That turned into a complete mess. I want to see how this goes. Now, Kirk is great for the locker room. He's not one of those guys like, hey, well, if I'm not going to start, I'm going to sabotage it. He'll be fine. But he is going to be the better quarterback to start off. We'll see how that plays out here. How about this one? Falcons land. Kevin Stefanski said on Wednesday that edge rusher James Pierce Jr. is not with the team at the start of voluntary all-season workout program. Here's a hint. he shouldn't be the team ever again, Joe.
Yeah, I know, but you know how that's going to work, right?
He's a good pass rusher.
Yeah. There you go, man. It's going to be one of those situations. What have you done for me lately?
Back up to the backup. We'll never stand for this on our team. Guy that can rush your passer, we'll work with him. We'll be back. Prediction Markets Edge on the early line, Donnie Rightside and Joe Ranieri here. In the next segment, we're going to talk a little Masters action, have some fun with that. But as we said, the NFL draft is coming up a little bit later in this month, and you can invest depending on who you think is going to go where, Joe. And usually it's like, hey, well, who's going to go number one? Well, we expect it to be the quarterback going out there to Las Vegas, but not showing up to the draft. That's Fernando Mendoza. But the question is not even who's going to be number two, Joe. How about the number 3 overall pick? Let's slide it down 3 slots here and see who that might be. Trading currently here is Arvell Reese at 31%. Many think he has a chance to go number 2 overall. David Bailey, 22%. And also Francis Mauigoa, the Miami Hurricane superstar left tackle, at 15% right now, Joe. The 3rd overall pick in the draft, up in the air right now.
It is, and this is where the Giants come into play, right? Or is this where the trading starts to come into play? I tend to think maybe Reese is the guy. I think he'll be, if he's available, Donnie, he's going to be the best guy on the board at the time, and it feels like with no quarterbacks, that's kind of what's going to happen in 3, 4, 5, right? They're just going to take the best players available on the board because there's no franchise player there. You're not getting a quarterback and changing the shape of your franchise. So get the best player on the board. I think Reese will be that guy at that point.
How about this? Number 4 overall. If we take a look at the market spike here with Kalshi, Jeremiyah Love on February the 27th, Joe, at 1 p.m. was trading at 2%. By the time we got over to March 2nd at 8 a.m., he was trading at 51%. Now currently trading to be the number 4 overall pick, right along at 31%, followed by Bailey and Carnell Tate, superstar wide receiver from Ohio State. 31%, Jeremiyah Love to be number 4 overall. He's currently the favorite, Joe.
Yeah, are we going that route this early? Again, is that what we're going to be talking about? Is that all of a sudden teams are going to go that high? Again, best player on the board. And right now, I mean, what do we got? Titans at number 4, right? So the Titans need to run it? No, I don't think so. Again, I think it's going to be the best player on the board. And I'd almost look at the no market, Donnie, more than anything else with Love at that point, because I don't think he goes top 10. I really don't.
We were just a few short years ago, Joe, from having running backs getting on their own conference call to say we might not be paid in 2 or 3 years to have this awesome research. Now we're taking resurgence, I should say, and now we're taking a look at maybe the Giants at number 5 or so, taking Jeremiyah Love. We'll see if that works out. But the one thing we do know in the NFL, Joe, quarterbacks get drafted, and they often get overdrafted here. How about the team to draft Ty Simpson on the board at Polymarket? A lot of teams are listed in there, which include the Lions, the Chargers, the Giants, the Niners, and the Bears. You can find value with these quarterbacks, but also you can overdraft these quarterbacks, and after 2 years, like, man, that was a bad first-round draft pick. He's probably, to me, Joe, he's probably going to get way overdrafted, but somebody's going to take him. Any ideas of who?
Yeah, well, and that's the problem, right? So, I mean, what are we thinking? Again, project, so which means you probably want to look at teams that, are solidified with their current situation where you're not going to throw the kid to the wolves. I've heard Bills, rather. I've heard Carolina Panthers. I mean, I've heard some interesting teams associated with this kid. But again, is it going to be in the first round? Likely not.
The one thing that you always have to keep an eye out for, those, because I'm just going through a couple of mock drafts here, those late picks in the first round, which guarantees that extra option here, which teams like to trade in for quarterbacks. We'll see if that makes a difference here. Let's move on to Jeremiyah Love, an intriguing prospect and a dominant player in college football, the resurgence of the running back. Here's a question, Joe, on Polymarket. Will Jeremiyah Love go in the top 10 in the 2026 professional football draft? He's now listed at a 93% chance to do that. And if we just skate this back, in January, Joe, to start the year, that was only 27%. Now he's all the way up to 93%.
I don't know. A lot of the places that I've looked in some of these mock drafts, I mean, I see him 15th, 16th, somewhere in that ballpark. And I think that makes sense, Donnie. I don't see him in the top 10. I really don't. I mean, I know some guys are very high on him, but when you look at, let's say, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, you start going into that, teams like the Cowboys or the Vikings or the Chiefs, and could they take a flyer? I mean, listen, the Chiefs just went out and traded for a running back, right? So they went out and signed one of the best. Yeah, in free agency, just signed one of the best.
Kenneth Walker.
I still think he falls to the late first round. I don't think he's a top 10 talent. I really don't.
How about Dexter Lawrence? We hear so much about he now wants out of the New York Giants, wants to get paid extra money. So the question is, where will Dexter Lawrence play in week number 1? Usually you slide it down and say, look at this. Maybe it's the Buffalo Bills, Colts, Vikings, teams that may be expecting to have a playoff push. But I scroll all the way down and see the Giants, Joe, at a 48% chance. But if you want to buy into that market, he's trading at 85 cents. So if he stays with the Giants, a $100 investment only pays back 107. So they're telling you a 50% chance roughly, but we don't want to give you options on that because we feel it should be higher. You only make back $7 on that transaction, Joe, if he stays with the Giants.
And that's what the market is telling you, right? Though, Donnie, the market is telling you that he's not going anywhere. He is likely staying there. Again, he's 28 years old. He's still going to be in his prime here over the next couple of years. So, and the guy is he's a wrecker there. They need to stop the rush. He's a guy that can absolutely do that in the middle of that defensive line. I think Dexter Lawrence stays a Giant. I think Harbaugh would be crazy unless somebody's going to overpay for him, but I don't know that that's happening either.
How about the 2026 MVP winner in the NFL? Can you believe it? The favorite right now, at least percentages-wise, is a wide receiver and a running back, not a quarterback. Jahmyr Gibbs, 93%. Justin Jefferson, 93%. And then there's quarterback, 92%. JSN's in there. Devon Achane showing up. Jackson Dart, 87%. Let me buy the no. Yeah, that's right. It's coming in at $0. They won't let me get in there. But Jahmyr Gibbs, Joe, has the favorite early time.
Jahmyr, interesting that that's what you're going to get, but I mean, call me crazy if it ain't. Give me just a Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen ticket, battling down to if it ain't broke, I ain't fixing it, Donnie. It just feels like if Mahomes can get back early enough, then he's going to be in the conversation. We all know it.
No David Montgomery, more carries for Gibbs. We'll see how it works out. How about Defensive Player of the Year? Myles Garrett listed at 18%. I guess you could just say like Ohtani for the MVP in baseball. Just give it to Myles. He's going to absolutely dominate, and that will be his award once again.
How do you bet again? I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, he's going to break his own sack record coming up this year is what he's going to do.
30 sacks for Myles Garrett as a Philadelphia Eagle. Whoa! We'll be